All right, so this is going to be a game with a focus on the Challenger tanks. There's a brief view of what I was bringing. I kind of started recording at a weird time because I was waiting in the lobby for a while. Anyways, this is going to be focusing on 3 Challenger tanks on Airport. I'm going to be playing on this left side, kind of by Golf, between Golf, Bravo, and Alpha. And it's going to be, I'm going to start out with 2 Challenger 2s, or Challenger Mark 2s, whatever, rather, and a Commander as well. And I'm going to skip to when that actually starts. Alright, so here we're getting going. Gonna have the Challengers in the bottom right, unless I decide to change it, but probably in the bottom right. And we're going to be following the view of the Commander. Because, I don't know, oftentimes my command units, they're not in the thick of it. But for this game, I wanted it's a heavy tank commander, so I want this one to be in the fighting and giving the other 2 challengers the veterancy bonus. So that's what they're going to be doing. They are super slow as far as the tanks go, especially when they have to make turns, which they do a lot on this road, as we'll see. They're not super fast on the straightaways, but when they have to turn, they slow to a snail's pace. Anyways, I'm throwing some reconnaissance units up. My teammates are capping all the zones, which is cool. Somebody's going on the left in the forest, which is awesome. I don't want to have to worry too much about being flanked by forest stuff. That's if I were playing in the forest, that's what I would want to be doing. So, yeah. And then they're fighting over that town. We got helicopters, a bunch of guys going to be dismounting. I'm not 100% sure what's going on in terms of all that stuff. And yeah, just driving slowly. We can see the smoke in the distance. So again, I think this is my 11th. Nope. I've uploaded 10 Warno videos, but I'll be following the usual pattern of whatever number this is. So if this is number 12, then just the view of the tanks will be 12.1. Yeah, and then if I have to swap to anything else, then that'll be well, it depends, because I'm only doing one window, so it'll either be part of 12.1 as a continuation or 12.2. Anyways, doesn't really matter a whole lot, just for if anyone wants the cinematic full screen, no commentary, just this is the tanks. They are going to get into a lot of action, I can say that up front. Quite a bit of action. And they're also going to run through that house. My command tank got delayed, which is fantastic. So I think the other ones even escaped the veterancy range. Yeah, so I've got the SAS patrol for reconnaissance, and they've got a sniper rifle, so I'm going to put them in the edge of the tree line so they can hopefully see more stuff, and then maybe even shoot the opposing reconnaissance unit, especially since the NATO snipers outrange, if I'm not mistaken, all of the Pact snipers. The Pact have 850 range, which is like the standard rifle, assault rifle, whatever range, and then the NATO snipers get 1250 meter range, so they're essentially, the Pact can't touch them unless they get close. We got lots of artillery coming in. Probably would have been more useful in that big blob of troops in the middle. There is more artillery coming in there. Somebody's marked, so that's nice. Nice close view of the tank. Lots of smoke already. I think mostly from helicopters and a few probably BMPs and maybe some warriors if there's a leopard. Yeah, there's a leopard there. So, and I can't remember what the machine gun. Maybe it's warrior with Fuchs. So we got an ATGM shooting at us from the town. This is the other thing after. So there's the forest side, which is mostly taken care of right now, and then there's the town side. Fortunately, the Challengers can just kind of face tank the missiles. And we've got a T-80 and a T-62. We've got more up by the Allied Air Mobile Scouts. At least 2, I think, T-80s. So I want to try to make sure that they can't build up a concentration of armor. Or, no, actually I want to back off, I guess. Probably too worried by the armor and the range that they can get. Yeah, so actually those tanks by the scouts there, I was worried about them coming out to flank me if I went to engage the other T-80s. And I've got 1 turret stuck, so that means my 3 tanks are down to 2 effective, unless I want to use the other one to bait. But that first T-80 moved out, I think, to chase us, probably got given an attack order. And, okay, now we're being shot at through the trees. So I'm actually going to focus on those guys instead, perhaps. It's a tough decision. Yeah, so I'm kind of in a little bit of a back and forth. Yeah, 2 T-80 BVs there, and 1 in the town, plus 2 T-62s also, I think. But we can see through the forest here, so we'll be taking these shots now. There we go. 1 down. And if we could focus on the bigger threat, that would be superb. There we go. T-80 down. And now it's just BMPs. They are BMP-2s, but I'm not super worried about that, especially because they're now within range of the infantry in the force. I just have to protect the infantry in the forest a little bit. And some artillery is coming down, which is somewhat helpful, I guess. And the SAS patrol lives to fight another day. And then I did bring up an anti-tank missile helicopter. I mean, they're really light. The NATO helicopter side is very, very weak, I would say, with the exception of the Apaches, whereas a lot of the PAC divisions get a lot of options. But yeah, the Strela being there, it is missing a lot, but and it got stunned, but my tanks just can't get there in time. Although I think something else actually shot the wings. Well, anyways, we're in range of some infantry. We've got that T-80 in the forest, which we could probably focus soon. Probably should focus on soon, actually, or just backing off. That house is really exposed to the PAC side, so putting a lot of guys in there is kind of asking them to get shot. I mean, especially given that it's so far on the edge, a lot of our vehicles can shoot outside of their range, even if they're rifles. Never mind like RPGs. I mean, if they had a like a Metis team, maybe it would be a little bit different. And now the sniper from my patrol is going to start shooting the Matvezvedka, that recon unit. They can't respond, so that's nice for us. The BMP-2 can, however, so and then I gotta make sure that my command tank goes and gets repaired, because it got smacked pretty hard in the side armor. They're stunned. They haven't even lost anybody yet. They're about to, I think, from the sniper fire. That other SAS patrol I have, not having a great time. And I need to relearn the hotkey for selling units, but this is not the most important thing. Probably smoke and reverse is more important. So yeah, I also brought up 3 cheaper tanks, the Chieftains. They're a lot lighter, but their gun is about the same, so they can put down a lot of damage. They've got pretty good range, obviously not as far as a missile, but they do pretty good. So these Motostrelki BMP are just going to be getting shredded. move up the heavier tanks to help protect the chieftain. And then take out the T-80BV. There's 2 more tanks coming up the center right now, and of course my command tank gets hit by the missile. I'm pretty sure that they're T-80s, so they're going to prevent me from pushing up too far because of course they can flank me. Close miss there, and we've got even more missiles coming in. But the T-80 goes down. And we got T-55s coming in too. And yeah, so that is a good time to be backing off the command tank because they're just focusing it, which makes sense. But a little bit of extra fire on the Rozvedka. I think they pushed forward to spot for the BMP-2 because they knew that they were getting sniped a lot. And then we're going to push forward so we can shoot through the trees, but not really be in range of much of the enemy's equipment. So yeah, some nice hits there. My chieftains, I think I may have lost one of them. No, I still got 3. One's a bit damaged. They can really only take, at maximum, 1 missile hit, I think. They're also fighting a T-80 that's in the town. So I've got limited line of sight on it. Just annihilated that infantry unit. Unfortunately, it distracted them from the BMP-2, my warriors, and so I'm going to lose one of them. So I'm going to push the tanks up because the BMP-2 from the front, not a big threat. I've been distracted by microing these tanks, so I've actually got kind of a big surplus of points built up. I did call in all of these armored rifles and their warrior Milans, so I mean that's been helpful. And then there's a scout helicopter. I'm gonna try to shoot it down. And then also cover my tanks in general. And I kind of would have preferred if they didn't smoke there because it wasn't super necessary. And it means I'm gonna have to back off to resupply. I kind of need to anyways since the chieftain got shot by a T-80. And yeah, so if it had held the smoke a little bit longer, I think probably would have survived, but I'll get a replacement. And here we go, infantry pushing back up there, just deleted instantly. And I've now also got a teammate, I think, complaining about me resupplying my tanks and artillery striking me. So, yeah, that's awesome. He's actually, I don't know if he's like super self-entitled or if he's a bot or like a smurf, like a second account for somebody on the other team, because he's gonna start dropping artillery on me a lot. Alright, anyways, focusing on this T-80 because it's the bigger threat. There's 2 T-62s pushing up here, so I'm ignoring them because they're just 2 T-62s, I don't really care. The Leopard's going to back off, but that's okay. It weakened them, and now as they round this corner, yeah, not something they're going to win. Kind of accidentally brought in a lot more supply than I needed at that moment. Yep, so there's the first strike coming on down to where I was. Very helpful. Got to make sure I keep up with my air defense, pushing with my tanks, and the reconnaissance. I think I kind of forgot that javelin, actually. You know, I've gained control of the left side of the town, or control might be generous. I've got almost control. I've got a presence there. Established a toehold. Yeah, that's probably a better way of putting it. Trying to see kind of where I can push up while not being under too much threat myself. And then rocket helicopter, I can just ignore that. It's going to barely chip away at my stuff. It will lower their cohesion though, which is probably the biggest threat, is making me more vulnerable to other things. Unable to respond as quickly. I think those Nonas probably ran out of ammo, so they're pushing up to use their direct fire. Ammo explosion on the T-80. And it's gone. And that's gone. Yeah, so the high accuracy right now is phenomenal. And the Warriors actually doing more than I realized, shooting at that kind of expansion. They're ignoring my little foothold here, which is very much to their detriment. And then there's those guys from the forest. This is what I actually couldn't even push up as far as I thought I could before getting hit by them. And of course they're going to focus on my command tank. Oh, actually they're not. But whoever they belong to is, I think, actually paying attention a little bit. They're going to start pulling back. Oh no, it routed. That tank routed. But it's a good defensive position overall. And we're going to back off my command tank. And I didn't want to risk losing one. I didn't have to smoke off both of them, I guess, but I really didn't want to risk losing one of the challengers, so being careful there. Taking out another scout helicopter also, if I could hit. Being struck by artillery again on my supply, which is... I don't know if he was just like hoping I wouldn't notice or something. I also don't know why he was marking where the artillery strike was coming in, but it's really bizarre. He's going to shell me one or two more times, and then I'm going to have enough of it and take out his MLRS. Yep, see now he's marking where I'm repairing once again, so... I mean, I guess thank you for marking it, but... There's no enemy even remotely close. This is... like there's no excuse for it. He's gonna do it at least twice more, I think, or at least one more time, because oh no, there it is. Yeah, right on my tank. You can see. I mean, you can't see it because you can't see anything because of the artillery strikes. So, luckily for me and unluckily for him, I'm sitting on a lot of extra points. So I'm gonna go ahead and bomb him because this is ridiculous at this point. He's RD'd me like 4 or 5 times, so... And that was a nice strike. So now that I can focus on actually playing the game again... oh my god, that command unit got just wrecked. But the cluster strike apparently does nothing to the Veld depot, so... Whoops. And I'm just checking to make sure there's not a huge amount of his already left around because I don't want to keep getting friendly fired upon. And then I'm going to be back to focusing on the tanks. Now I'm getting artillery on me from the other team, and this is part of why I was kind of suspicious, because that strike is almost exactly where the other strikes were landing from my so-called teammate. And he's going again. So, you know, very, super great. And actually, because I had to push up from all the friendly and enemy artillery fire, I was able to take out that Tunguska, so hurrah. I'm not going to be pushing up for a little bit because I need to be able to repair so and we've got kind of a nice line of fire on for one of the tanks at least on that infantry. Oh, and the chieftains. So yeah, that's pretty good. There's another artillery strike. I think it was to prevent me from pushing my advantage here and pushing on the Buratino and the T-80. But I've got the range, because the chieftains have good range, to at least take out the T-80. And then we're getting flanked by the other T-80, that same middle stretch of trees, and I'm going to drop back to repair. And we took out the T-80 and the Buratino on the right, so that was a nice little bit of success. I don't know if I actually got all of them, but at least the supply is gone. And the repairs will eat up more of his supply, even though he's got basically infinite. I'm pretty sure that's all he was doing. I'm gonna stop focusing on that because it's not super important, just a little bit annoying. And so the tanks are almost repaired. We've got another T-80, and then, yeah, so I'm going to send forward the two chieftains that are repaired. The last one can just hang out. But the T-80 got nuked anyways. And so yeah, my little push into the town has been kind of difficult to support because they've got so much in the middle, and I have to be, well, I'm trying to be really careful about my tanks, especially the lighter ones. Now I've got the heavy tanks coming in as well. And there's the advantage of the tank guns, that they shoot faster than the missiles, so. Save themselves. And now I'm fairly confident that we've taken out a lot of the stuff. So I'm going to push into the town itself and remove some of the infantry. I've actually ended up losing a fair amount of my infantry, unfortunately. And they lose their scout helicopter and another T-80. And slightly risky because there could be stuff kind of like behind that black smoke, but I really want to take out this side T-80 or 2, since there's 2 missiles coming out. There's probably 2 of them. But I can put a lot more shots downrange because their missiles are really slow to travel, really slow to reload, probably more accurate overall, but 3 versus 2 at with this set of parameters, I'm pretty happy. Back for some repair. And the other team actually, they got kind of far into this forest. They've got a T-80 there, which is not being fun for me. I've got a lot of points left, so I'm gonna pull up 1 helicopter, I guess, which they've got a Strela there, so, and more in the woods farther to the left, so probably not a great idea, but I just wanted to throw a couple things over to the left. I'm gonna grab some more infantry and also some tanks soon. I don't know what they're shooting at now. We've got a T-80 pushed towards the edge of the forest. We're gonna go and try to take it out. So this, I was pretty happy with how I did in preventing them from building up a concentration of armor. Even though my numbers never really exceeded 2 groups of 3. One of which was pretty light, honestly, so. Damn, that was close. Push up the chieftains to kind of flank from the town. Mostly because the BMPs were being a little bit annoying. And I could focus on the T-80, let the chieftains take out the BMPs, hopefully, and my challengers could hopefully take out that T-80 BV. Got a nice hit there. And killed it off. And then we can come back and help the chieftains with the BMPs and whatever else. And having taken all of that out, I'm going to start pushing up again a little bit. And as always, there is some stuff in that clump of trees. A little extra air defense. It's just kind of scattered around. Not randomly, but just well spread out. I guess it's somewhat random. Oh, and of course, there is a tank right there, so I'm going to try to... I don't know what happened there. They shot once, and then they kind of stopped shooting. T-80 down, and... T-80 down, and I don't know what that was. Maybe another T-80? Don't want to overextend, so I'm going to drop back a little bit. I am going to push up my recon unit. And now this BMP's got me kind of caught in a bad spot. Ooh, just smoked barely in time. I can't see the BMP though, so not great. Try to pull that tank off. Because the 2 Challengers is still like more than enough to handle it. So now that I can see it again. Yep, finished it off. And then hopefully also the Strela. Yep, gone. T-80 command unit coming in. I don't know why. They might have run out of standard T-80s or been running low because I've killed so many of them. Oh, and then another BMP. BMP-2 comes up from the side. Finally takes out one of my Challengers. So I'm going to push up the remaining 2. One, rather. The other one still needs to repair and avenge my fallen tank. And repair what I've got left. So yeah, at the risk of almost overextending, I'm going to be pulling back. And 2 more, I think that's T-80s coming in at the top of the screen. They're just they're trying to shoot their missiles off and not being super successful. And I bought the jets because I had so many points at this point. Probably should have grabbed some more infantry and tanks. I know I'm going to soon. Just haven't really gotten around to it yet. Yeah. So now, this is kind of what I was worried about at the beginning of the game is... oh yeah, I don't think they had enough time to really drop their stuff. I called that in poorly. Supplies got destroyed. I think those were mostly empty though. Anyways, this is what I was worried at towards the beginning of the game, is the red team pushing into that forest and coming at me from the left and the town to the right at the same time. Which is kind of happening, but it's just what they have left in there isn't great. I mean, the town still has T-80s, but mostly I think it's like T-62s from the left, so either way, I'm going to focus on clearing my portion of the left first. That way I don't have to worry so much because they're not that threatening in themselves, but if I'm engaging like 3 T-80s in the town and 2 T-62s come out of the forest, that could give me some troubles. So just be trying to take out that T-62. And that AT plane coming in could have been bad news too. Both of them. Close strike there. And then fortunately they get annihilated on the way out. Also, napalm plane, I guess. Not too concerning considering I'm like watching that part specifically, so I'm not gonna let my stuff burn out. And the T-62 has come back just enough to finish off my SAS patrol. And I'm busy. I've called in way too much supply again because it takes so long to get to the front, but I end up using a lot of it anyways, so it's not really a waste. I'm pretty happy with the forces I've got at hand, although again, I could have like 20 infantry and IFVs and another 4 tanks. I also kind of specifically didn't want a tank blob because I don't know, it's kind of ridiculous. Now we're fighting yet another T-80. The T-80B, though, doesn't have great armor, so that's taken out without too much trouble. Engine destroyed. I didn't realize the tanks were driving backwards also until I watched the replay here, but unless I told them to reverse, but I don't think I did, or if I did, it was a mistake to reverse them that far, because now they're kind of just presenting their butts to whatever may or may not be in the town. Certainly not ideal. And another chieftain got taken out, I think by that T-80, which they're shooting at right now. Almost have it. And then that T-80 is like on their that corner of that house is along their reinforcement route, so that's where I'm gonna end up engaging a lot of them. Post miss from an ATGM and tank down. There's still that one T-80. That's a lot of misses. That's like 5 misses in a row from mine. 2, 3 from them. Seven misses to 4, and Challenger. So here I figured I've got the command tank, might as well pop it into the capture zone to try to capture it. The Saperi RPO can't do anything to a tank, so lower the threat to my infantry by pushing the tanks close, and then also have my infantry pushing up alongside the tanks, so I don't get ambushed by the enemy infantry or whatever. Why did I come back out? Oh, the tank just kind of maneuvered itself out. Sometimes they do that, which is a little bit annoying. And also, so at this point, there's enough stuff that we've got in the forest, especially like the closer half of the forest and hills on the left side, that I kind of started ignoring it and focusing on this town because I've blown up so much stuff in the town that I figured I might as well push into it. I did call in some Challenger. Oh, there they are. I kind of forgot about them though. No, I gave them a bad command, and then I got distracted by something else. What I should have done was the direct move. They're gonna get ambushed and destroyed. I did kind of call them in mostly just as replacement to the one that did get destroyed earlier, though. Yeah. Bunch of infantry there and a T-80, so that was not a fun loss, but it doesn't really affect too much how effective, I guess, I can be. And then we're going to try to catch this T-80 on its reinforcement route. I've now kind of got them in this bottleneck that they're going to be following one of these 3 roads to come in, so they're not in a good place here with me having these 2 tanks, which is why I'm being really careful, or somewhat careful, maybe not really careful, but somewhat careful to push up my javelins, because that would be the probably the simplest counterplay. And just call that plane into bomb. Hopefully it lives, but I'm obviously not really focusing on the Air Force aspect in this one. Also trying to hunt down whatever their last command unit is. There it is. I mean, probably is. I don't know for sure. Yeah, it is apparently not. T-64 to the left. That's actually somewhat threatening. And an additional missile, so gonna call that back. I don't know if my second tank is out of range for the missile. Kind of looks like it. But I do have the replacement Challenger Mark II, which I'm going to push up. Yeah, so now I've got these tracked rapiers to help defend. So at this point we've got 3 minutes to victory, so I'm just gonna push some stuff forward. I mean, all that infantry I called in, which I should have called in way before, I don't think it's even gonna arrive by the time the clock is counted down. And so because we're pretty much there, I'm just gonna push up a lot, and it's obviously not like... If we had more time in the game, I wouldn't do this. I mean, this part I would be doing, because if we can kill that leader, boom, zone is ours. But on the left side with this group of trees and like the Mi-24 there, this is what I was kind of worried about initially, actually, is a helicopter to counter my tanks. But it didn't happen until the end. Possibly, I guess, because I had all of the anti-air stuff anyways. But because there's only 1 minute left, I'm just gonna push forward kind of recklessly. Actually, more than kind of recklessly, really recklessly. Just like, woo! Going for it! Get a couple extra kills. So that's also why I've moved off of them in the close-up view, because the end, I was just... The game was over already. I am going to lose a couple extra just because I YOLO charged. And, yep, there we go. There's the end. Gonna stick around looking at the destroyed stuff for a little bit. So if you... I got 4 times the losses, nope, sorry, 4 times the kill points as the loss points. But also if you factor in that it's because of throwing away planes to not really much benefit, and the 2 Challenger Mark IIIs and that command tank at the end, I did pretty well. That was a good one, yeah. Lots of action for the tanks. Lots of smoke and stuff, so yeah, it was a fun one.